The pig population in Texas is so large that eradication's off the table for now.
You know, those big boars, they just tear the fence down.
The pigs will put us out of business if we don't do something about it.
Texas can serve as an example of what can happen if pig populations go unchecked. Agricultural industry in Texas is paying the price for exploding pig populations. The story of feral pigs in Texas is a complicated situation. In addition to diseases of cattle, predation on livestock and grain, we also have human safety risks, we have natural resource conflicts, and it takes a dedicated effort to address those problems. We're not going to barbecue our way out of this problem.
Okay. Okay, this thing here is what I used to call my cattle with. And that some of them hear it way off, some don't. My name is George Cook, and I'm from Hondo, Texas. I live 12 miles north of Hondo. Well, my great-grandma settled here in 1948. Been brought up with it and that's all I've ever known, and I just love it, you know. I wouldn't probably do nothing else. When I grew up, there was no hogs in that. But, you know, I guess the last, I'm gonna say 30 years is when we really started getting them. Okay, see right here is one place where the hogs, that's what I'm talking about, how they tear the fences up and that, you go under there, and if you got a netting wire fence like this is, but it's an old one, they just make big holes in there and just keep going. And them big boars, they make it worse. Get in a water trough and tear the floats up and everything else. They broke that pipe here a while back. And then the pipe that goes from over there, over here, they broke it. They're putting a big dent in our pocket, that's for sure.
Texas has the largest herd of cattle in the U.S., and diseases that can be transmitted to cattle are a significant concern, especially with the number of pigs that we have. While diseases can impact an individual ranch or rancher, the whole industry can be at risk. Trade issues are associated with disease-free status, and if we lose the disease-free status, trade can be shut down. The entire industry can be jeopardized by feral hog diseases.
Well, I think my kids would like to take it over, you know. It depends on what's gonna happen down the road, who knows? You know, like I said, it's not easy, just way of life.
Wild pigs are the same species across what we call Eurasian wild boar and domestic swine. Those have interbred to become wild pigs. And when we think about why this has become such a problem, is that Eurasian wild boar, they're a wild species, and they are adapted for their environment to be smart and aggressive, very witty when it comes to interacting with their environment. Then we look at the fact that they've interbred with domestic swine. Well, what do we breed our domestic livestock for? We want them to reproduce at a young age, and we want them to have lots of babies, be very fecund, and we want them to grow quickly. But when we combine those two things, the problem is we end up with an animal that is smart and adaptable and aggressive, as well as breeds at a young age and has a lot of babies and grows really big. And so that's the impact that pigs have, is really made even bigger by the fact that they're a mix of these two different types of pigs.
So much of Texas is perfect habitat. We've got the right mix of water, agricultural land, and rangeland, a lot of brush for pigs to hide in some places, trees in East Texas, and it's the perfect habitat for feral hogs.
I can't speak too far into the future, but I think within probably 10 years, the predators may wind up putting us out of business. But we're gonna fight it. We're fighting it every day. I'm Bob Brockman. We live in Sutton County on the Edwards Plateau. We run sheep, goats, and cattle. Well, the Edwards Plateau is limestone covered. It's very rocky. There's not very much soil. It's not an arable land. You're not going to farm it. But it is suitable for sheep, goats, and cattle, but you also have wildlife that is very much at home here on the Edwards Plateau. The big boars are our main problem. They will kill the newborn lambs and kid goats that are right there on the bedding ground, because that's when they're most vulnerable, is when they're young, and they'll come along through there and they'll eat those kids and lambs just like a 3-year-old would M&Ms. Wildlife Services, I don't think we could ranch without Wildlife Services. We're pretty much, we're dependent on them. They can't do it all, I can't do it all, but Wildlife Services is our buffer between the predators and going out of business. The diseases that they carry, plus the damage that they do to our fences, the damage that they do to water troughs, breaking floats off, losing a whole tank of water. So it's an ongoing battle.